Okay, let's talk about spinner wings. The usual fly that you see tied with spinner wings is tied with some kind of fibers like polypropylene, which is fine. They look good when you first get them. But after these wings get wet and soggy, pretty soon they begin to weep back into a sort of jet plane sort of configuration. And they just don't look very good to me because you have to use so many fibers and make such a bushy wing that it looks just overly dense and bushy to me. So I'm going to try and show you an easy way to make wings that look much, much more like a real spinner wing. And the key is to get a material called nylon organza, which you can buy in any fabric store. It's used in dressmaking. It's also available in fly shops, but usually it's in little squares that's 10 times as expensive as what you can get in a fabric store. But you can buy this by the yard, and it's very inexpensive. And the way you use it is you fray out fibers from the side. Just pull them out. And as you do that, as you can see, you expose other fibers on the sides, on the ends of the fabric, and then you can use those. But usually what I do is I'll fray out about 20 of these, a few at a time, until I can get a strand of, maybe this is probably more than 20, maybe 25 strands. And I put a drop of glue on the end just to hold them all together. And now I can make multiple wings with this little bundle of fibers, and I'll show you how that goes. So you make the usual figure 8 wraps over the material. And then I'm going to anchor the thread, pull it really tight, anchor the thread with a couple of turns, clip this off. And so there you've got the basic wing. I can make them a little bit flatter by winding around the wings and not around the hook. Just taking a couple of turns around, tightening up, anchoring the thread, and I'll have the wings flattened out a bit. I'll do the same thing with the other wing, go around it once or twice, tighten it up, anchor the thread, and now they've spread out. And then presumably I've built the rest of the fly, the tails and the body, and now I'll show you how you finish the fly. Once you've got everything else put on, the tail, the body, and the rest, and you've tied off the thread, then what you do is you take some flexible cement. I use Dave's Flex Cement, which is a fairly common fly tying cement, and it's good because it dries flexible rather than hard. So I'm going to put a little spot of this flexible cement on the wing at the base, on top and underneath, just to make sure that those fibers are all saturated with the glue. A little more underneath, just to make sure everything is saturated. And then I've got another fly started that I've let sit for about 5 minutes. That's about the amount of time you need to have to let that flex cement dry. And then what you do, you can see this one is not as spread out. The wings are not as spread out as the one I just tied. And it's been drying for about 5 minutes. Then you take a pair of flat nose pliers or your hackle pliers and you squeeze it flat. And that flexible cement will cause the wings to spread into a plane. So you can see them spread as I squeeze them with the pliers. And so now you've got wings that are shiny and flat in a plane, as opposed to this bushy one that has a lot of fibers, but is still going to slick back when it gets wet. These fibers are much stiffer than polypropylene fibers, so these will stay pretty much intact while you fish it.